Hello, this is wmpyr. I recently got a comment, and the idea of there were several questions that was asked to me from this person, and the idea was basically she was saying that, are you sure you're supposed to go to the clinch in a self-defense situation? Are you sure this is a good idea? Because the bad guy is probably going to be male, probably going to be a lot bigger and stronger. Um, I can understand the surprise there. Okay, so first things first, we're talking about a self-defense situation, possibly where the opponent, the bad guy, can have a knife, right? So in a situation like this, the safest place for you to be is what we call in Filipino martial arts long range. So the further away, the better. This is, um, you know, this is very simple and easy to understand. Long range is the safest and best place for you to be. Now, however, you can't always have that. So if you're not able to go to long range, then the next thing is you want to go to close range, which is the clinch. And I'm skipping medium range. We don't want to be in medium range. Why? Because medium range is when they are trying to stab you, to cut you, or even if they didn't have a weapon, if they just want to punch and kick you, all of that stuff lands in medium range. That's what they're thinking about, is to land a punch or to get a knife and stab you. All of that is medium range, okay? Don't get me wrong, there's stuff that they could do in close range. For sure, there are ways to strike in close range. There are ways to strike in the close range, which is the clinch. So yeah, you could strike in the clinch, for sure. I understand that, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the main attacks that they're going to be employing, the main attacks that they're going to be doing to slash or to punch. That's all going to be in medium range. Okay, initial. That is the first danger, the first thing that's coming at you. All of that, they're targeting medium range. So if you can't go to long range, then between medium range and close range, I'm saying go to close range. Don't stay in medium range. If you stay there, you're going to be at the end of all those power shots, whether it's a knife, a baseball bat, or a fist. You're right there. That's medium range, that you're in target. It should be a red zone, okay? So that's why I'm saying don't be in medium range and go 100% commit and get into close range. Now, it doesn't matter how big the opponent is, because for myself, I've been in at least two self-defense situations where, the bad guy was much bigger than me, and that's what I had to do in that point because I couldn't go to longer range for whatever reason. I went into the clinch, and you would be surprised. I went into the clinch. And once I got into the clinch, I felt safe there because if I wasn't in the clinch, they're much bigger than me. They could knock me out with one punch because they're so much bigger. So it just made sense for me to get in close so that they can't hit me, with their full power. So if I'm very, very close to them, they got to do this kind of hitting rather than this kind of hitting. So I'd rather be there, Now you might be thinking, well, what about the knife? Well, it's still the same with a knife because if you're over here and they, go like this, you're going to take a very powerful stab. But if you're right here and they're trying to stab you like this, okay, it's still very bad, but it's not as bad, I would argue. And also, they have to worry about not stabbing themselves, okay? So when you do go to the clinch, you don't want to be in the front, obviously, like this, because they could still stab you, they could still cut you, or they could still punch you. So you want to move off to the side as much as you can. So it's not just go to the clinch blindly. There's ways to go to the clinch. There's ways to be in the clinch. Okay. So that I haven't really shown much of, but if you study fighting that show the clinch, um, you'll quickly learn. And I do need to make a video on this, but once you're in the clinch, you want to move to the side and get to the back. Why? Because the back is safest. So you want to get to the side, makes it much harder for them to stab or cut you. They have to, so if either hand, it makes it harder. It makes it much, much harder. If you get to the side, you get to the back, it's the best. So go to the clinch, and once you're in the clinch, immediately think you need to get to the side and the back. All right. And once you do that, okay, before I get there, the strategy, this is very basic, old school Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu strategy. Now, the way that I definitely trained in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but the way that I came to this conclusion also for self-defense, also for the street, is very different from the way I guess that they got to that conclusion, because I come from Filipino martial arts. So my thinking is that in Filipino martial arts, we want to get to medium range. We get to medium range where we slice and dice. We're the ones cutting and stabbing the opponent. And then, well, what about the defense to that? And there really isn't. To put it simply, I'm not talking about beginner levels of Filipino martial arts. When you've been doing Filipino martial arts for a while, you're going to find out that in medium range, we have no defense. So what that means is, if they're doing it to you, you don't want to be there. And that's why the conclusion pretty much comes to the same as the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu methodology, where we skip medium range. So either you're in long range or you get to the clinch, never in between. So the distance management idea is similar, although, like I said, we come from Filipino martial arts. We come from, weapons, knives, and that we do that all day long. Those guys, they do ground stuff all day long. So it's different, but the stand-up strategy is very, very similar. The difference is, we don't need to take the opponent to the ground, and I'm not asking you to get into the clinch, take them down, and then finish them with a submission. For someone who is weaker, smaller, to grapple and wrestle with someone much bigger than them on the street, if you have to, sure, do it. That would be great if you have those skills. And I'm not saying don't learn BJJ. I think if you can learn it, definitely. I did. But I think you have a much better chance if you use weapons at that point. So you get to the clinch, and then you access your weapon, and you hurt the bad guy enough, or you discourage them enough that they leave you alone. You don't have to finish them. Okay, this is about survival. So that's the main idea. You make it to where they can't do what they want to do to you, and you survive and you escape ultimately. So the weapon will help you out tremendously, and that is the idea there. So anyway, I hope that makes sense. Please, any of my viewers, if you have questions about this, I basically laid out the self-defense blueprint essentially in this video. But if you have more specific questions, please don't hesitate to ask. I go into more details, and I know there's more videos that I need to make showing this kind of stuff. But anyway, that's it for now. Thank you for viewing, and take care, folks.